Tim, it looks like agentic workflows or agent-based AI, augmented processes in the telco are very much on the roadmap. But I want to ask you what you feel the key obstacles and hurdles might be in making that a reality.
Yeah, so clearly agentic automation is coming, but it's not there yet. It's in its nascent stages. It's definitely not enterprise ready. But that said, if you sit back and bury your head in the sand, you're going to find yourself left way behind, right? So what we need to be doing is to monitor how agentics are advancing. Do proof of concepts. Use the agentic applications where you can. Develop it step by step to grow confidence. I think one of the first places I suspect that it will be very powerful is in the discovery space around automation, because if you can show it a process and then have it work out what's next right the way through the process, there's an argument to say, well, okay, let's just do that and let it run the whole process without an algorithm. But that's very risky. We all know that AI can hallucinate. It may go off down a rabbit hole. That's not the approach you should be taking as an enterprise. But my suspicion is that the RPA vendors may well use agentic to look at a process and do the entire discovery piece and process mapping piece. So I think that will come quite quickly, and that will really speed up the means by which that we can automate. So that may well be a first adoption. Similarly, we're seeing it used for error handling. We're seeing AI more broadly infusing the capabilities of automation and RPA. So I think really it is about just adopting these carefully as they come through, running pilots, running tests, and building on it gradually. I think that's my advice. I don't think we're in a position where it's completely enterprise ready yet. We need to be able to prove that it is completely reliable, completely robust. And also, I think the challenges that will come is about providing it with access to the backend systems and data, and actually understanding the processes, having the correct data governance and modeling in place as well. That all needs to be in place before you can really make best use of agentic automation. So trial it. But I think the other thing I will say as well is that most forms of technical change, really the technology is only 20% of the success factor. People and culture is 80% of that. What I've tended to find, I was around, in the ancient years when video calling came out on mobile phones, but people didn't want to use video calls. They felt really uncomfortable about that. But the technology improved, and then of course COVID came along. COVID forced people down that route for work. The technology is on your iPhone and it's much better quality. So we hit that sort of tipping point where all of a sudden it became acceptable and people adapted to the technology. I come back to the point around agentic automation, and I think there is a cultural aspect to that as well, and there will be a point where humanity is ready for that, but we're not there yet, is my view.
I would echo what Tim has said. The consultant answer to that question is you need an AI framework. The real answer to that is exactly what Tim says about, technology is 20%, 80% is the people and the mindset. And I think that across the whole AI automation spectrum, that mindset is what really needs to be developed, matured, cajoled along that path. And I think that the more we take those small steps, as Tim said, I think it's a very nice response. You take the smallest steps, you do your POCs, you get an understanding of the technology, you understand how it fits into the organization, what are the cultural problems, what are the framework problems. There's the real feel for it. AI is a different beast. It's not your plug and play Excel thing. You've actually got to look at data, look at interactions. It's a complete sort of system type of thing. I think the biggest obstacle really is that mindset about how to look at it.